this morning to talk to you about fostering for Islington. My name's Min. I'm one of the social workers in the fostering team in Islington, and I'm joined by Walt, who's a foster carer with Islington. I'm really pleased that you're listening this morning, because that means that you're one step closer to thinking about becoming a foster carer. The aim of today is to have an informal session that will give you some insight into fostering and let you know about what fostering for Islington's all about. And there's no one better to tell us about fostering than a foster carer. So Walt, would you like to share with us what your experience of the fostering information session was like?
Good morning, and I'm so pleased that you're here, because I was where you are now 4 years ago. I was thinking about fostering. I've been fostering for the London Borough of Islington now for coming up to 4 years at the end of this year. I look after teenagers, and I've had 2 young people in my care. I'm looking after a young man now, 16, and the placement is going so well. We're actually talking about a special guardianship order, which is great news for both of us. But it's been a long, very exciting journey. And what I will say to start off with, fostering has changed my life, and it's been the best decision I have ever made. So I highly, highly recommend it. And I hope you will think about taking the next step. I came to an information session in Islington at the town hall, and I actually had to persuade myself to go. I was finding lots of reasons not to go, because I kept thinking, why would they want me? Why would they want a single male carer of the LGBT community who doesn't own his own property, who doesn't have his own children? There were so many reasons why I thought there's no way. And I came to the information session, and I could not have been more reassured that I am, just like you are, the right person to foster.
Oh, thanks, Walt. That's really encouraging for everyone that's listening and thinking about taking on fostering. It is a big decision to make. If you haven't heard already, Islington Children's Services has just been rated outstanding by Ofsted, and we're really, really pleased about that. We really care about our children and young people. We want them to have the best start in life, and we want them to have a fair chance. Because we are a council, we're a non-profit organisation. That puts us in a really good position, actually, because that means we can put children's welfare before profit. So this morning, Walt and I are going to talk to you about what fostering is, a little bit about what foster carers do, what you can expect from Islington when you foster, and the process of becoming a carer. We'd love to have your questions during the session, so please post them on the chat and we'll do our very best to answer them. Also, please keep an eye on the scrolling banner, because there will be information that's posted as we chat, which you might find really helpful. So maybe if we start with thinking about what fostering is. So all children who enter the fostering system come under the care of their local authority. Children can become looked after for a number of reasons. It might be that they've been abused or neglected, but it could be for other reasons, such as family illness. And we have seen an increase at the moment with the current pandemic. Fostering, it's actually looking after children and young people in your own home. Sometimes we need foster carers who look after children for a short time while we work with families to help them sort things out and the children can go home. Other times we need foster carers who can look after children longer term until the young person is able to live independently. And that might be when they've completed their education. And as well as mainstream fostering, Islington has got a number of different schemes that you might be interested in. For example, we have respite fostering. We have a scheme where you look after children who have a disability. And we also have something that's called supported lodgings, which is supporting a young person who's not quite ready to live on their own. So helping them develop the independent living skills that they need to do that. Walt, did you want to chip in here?
So in my situation, I actually, with the current situation I'm in, I've been looking after this young person for over 3 years, and they actually came to me on a short-term basis. However, because of the circumstances, it's now become a long-term basis. So fostering isn't like a one-stop template. The situations change, and it's like a fluid situation. So every day brings something different and a new lesson. So what I recommend is, whilst there are so many different types of fostering, be open to all of them, because you might choose one thing and then it becomes something else.
That's really helpful. And in Islington, what we really need at the moment is people who can look after teenagers and sibling groups. I mean, we really want to keep families together and brothers and sisters together. And so if you have a spare room, and if you have some experience, we'd love to hear from you. I mean, the experience of looking after children can come from all different areas. It could come from your current work experience or some past experience. It could come from within your own family, like raising your own children, or looking after children in your network. You might have more to offer than what you think. And also, you don't need a qualification to foster. We need people from all different cultural and religious backgrounds. Well, did you want to say
What's very good
something?
about, so much truth in what you're saying. Yeah, there's whatever you have experienced in your life, you can channel into your fostering, whether it's any experience that you've had that may have been challenging experience, any successes that you've had, any kind of jobs that you've done. All of this is valid, all of this is important, and all of this can make you a good foster carer. There's lots of training that the local authority provides that will help you channel all these experiences and help you implement them into your work as a foster carer. Even like now, we're in a very challenging pandemic, and I used to work many years ago. I used to work as an entertainer in like holiday resort, and I thought, that's got nothing to do with fostering, but this experience has really helped me now be creative during this pandemic and make fill the time. Or I used to work as an events organizer, and working as a foster carer, you have to deal with lots of professionals, you have to deal with schools, you have to deal with the mental health support, you have to deal with social workers, and that's where I could really draw on my organizational skills. And fostering, they will help you with lots of training, how to utilize all of your skills, whatever they are, to make them useful for fostering. Whatever you have done in the past, you can utilize and become a foster carer.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's brilliant. What we're looking for, I suppose, is someone who really cares about kids and they want to make a really positive difference in children's lives. And what did you want to share a little bit about your fostering journey?
Of course, yeah. So before I became a foster carer, it has actually been on my mind for many years, but I always thought there is just no way I stand a chance in being approved as a foster carer. I was worried about being rejected by the local authority, and it took me many years to finally think, I'm going to try this. And my journey took about just under a year before I became approved, because there's a very long, a very intense, and a very detailed assessment that a social worker carries out. Somebody like Min will come and meet with you on a regular basis, and what they do is they get to know you, they get to know your personality, they get to know your way of thinking, and they help you reflect on why you want to become a foster carer. And that can be quite a interesting journey. It's a lot of fun, but it's also very interesting to get to somebody holds a mirror up to you and says, why do you want to foster? And you get to a stage where you think, yeah, this is who I am. and I am the right job for this. So the journey to become approved is very, very interesting, very exciting, but it can be very, what some people might find insensitive, but don't be scared. That it's here to help you become a foster carer, not to catch you out. Once during the assessment for attending the most training courses for 1 year, because I just kept going on all of them, and the training courses are very useful. You get to meet lots of the other foster carers, you connect with them, you share experiences, and you learn, although on a theoretical basis. And by the time I got approved, I thought, okay, I'm ready. I know everything I need to know. And then the young person arrives, and everything you've learned on the training course not goes out the window, but everything changes when you have to, when all of a sudden the door closes and you're on your own with that young person. And that's something that has been very challenging, but very rewarding, and something that I can highly, highly, highly recommend.
Thanks, Walt. That was really encouraging, really helpful to hear about your journey. We'll come back and talk a little bit about the assessment which you've mentioned, but just wanted everyone to know that you don't foster alone, you know, because it is a daunting idea to take on looking after a young person and wanting to do the best possible thing you can by them. But there's a whole team of people that are working with you to look after the child. And because we're a local authority, we're actually a bit like a one-stop shop. So it's really useful. Everything's under one roof. When you're a foster carer, you have your own supervising social worker. They support you, they supervise you, they visit you regularly. The child has their own social worker who visits with you. And also you've mentioned already, Walt, about sort of you're using your skills to be communicating with other professionals in the team working with you. I mean, there's a whole lot of other professionals involved, people from health and education, for example. Islington has a 24-hour telephone support with experienced staff, and that's 7 days a week. That's every day of the year. That does include public holidays as well, and that's really reassuring if you're thinking about becoming a carer. And as you've mentioned already, you got an award for all the training you've attended. Well, there's heaps of training for foster carers, and one of the trainings that you'll do before you even become a foster carer is the Skills to Foster training, and that's a really practical training course that really helps you to think about the skills that you'll need as a foster carer. We're doing that virtually at the moment. A lot of the things that we would usually do face-to-face, we've adopted and adapted, and we're doing those online. And we've also got regular support groups. Did you want to share a little bit about that, Walt? Some of the support groups?
Because I look after the teenager, there is a special support group for foster carers who work with teenagers, and they're very well attended. They're lots of fun. We meet once a month. At the moment, we meet virtually. So still great to connect with other foster carers. What's very good is that you meet other people who share similar experiences, because sometimes it can be quite overwhelming when you are on your own with a teenager and you think, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? And then you meet other foster carers, and they have had, although a different journey, they've had similar experiences, and it's actually very good to connect with them. And these teenage support groups are led by social workers who can support you. They focus on certain subjects, like what's going on in the world at the moment, to help you, for example, how you can talk to your teenager about the current Black Lives Matter movement, or if there's something going on that's very current and you just don't have the language. These support groups will help you how to communicate with your young person and support them. So they're very, very useful. We also have a men's group, which is an absolute hoot, where all the male foster carers come, And a lot of these support groups, we have guest speakers. So maybe somebody from the Metropolitan Police would come to explain to us the challenges that the police force is having, how we can support the police, or we can feed back to the police how the young people are feeling when, for example, they get stopped on the street, or what their fears are. So it's a very fluid, open dialogue with the community, and they're so useful. And they're also like spaces for you to have a wobble if you need to. And we're all there to listen. We're all there to support each other. There's also a coffee morning every Wednesday, which is by IFCA, which is a foster carer-led association, I guess you'd call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Association. Yeah. We meet every Wednesday, have share experiences, connect with each other. You build a support network, because sometimes you may need a day off. So you get to meet other foster carers who will then offer you respite, and they come and help you. Or you may say, look, I'm really stuck. I don't know what else is. Another foster carer will tell you, I've been in the same situation as you. This is what I did. Try this. So there's so much support, and you become a team.
Yeah, definitely.
That understands you, that supports you, that's there for you, and that listens. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. The peer support is absolutely crucial, and obviously these groups facilitate that. We should mention also that you receive an allowance and rewards when you foster, and that's up to £470 a week, and that depends on the age of the child. And there are some extra payments as well. For example, when it's a child's birthday, you receive a little extra money to be able to treat them, and money towards going on a holiday, and for a religious holiday, and up to a certain amount. This is actually tax-free. We should probably talk about the process. You have covered that already quite a bit, Walt. I might just go through a little bit more about that, though. A lot of what we do in Islington is the same, although what we have done because of everything that's happening is we've moved a lot of it online and virtually, like the information session, for example, which we usually do face-to-face. But when you want to become a foster carer, one of the things that will need to happen is called an initial visit, and this is with one of our social workers. It could be with myself or someone else in my team. And what that allows us to do is to get a picture of the experience that you have in caring for children and young people, and what was helpfully talking about earlier. You know, this experience can come from different areas in your life and experiences in your life, and it's an opportunity also during the visit to actually have a look at your home, to see if it's suitable, to see if there's enough space for you to live comfortably with your family and a young person. And then what we've mentioned already is a short training course, which is called Skills to Foster. We are doing that virtually, and we will be running one of those soon. And the course is, it's actually really practical. It focuses on the day-to-day skills that you need as a foster carer. And you also need to go through an assessment, and Walt shared a little bit about his experience of that already. This assessment includes checks and references, such as a DBS check, which is a check with the police, and it also involves the weekly visits that Walt was talking about with the assessing social worker, to have a look at your experience, to have a look at your growing up experience, your experiences in adult life, and everything that really has made you who you are today as a person, and help us think about everything that you're going to be bringing to fostering, all the skills that you actually have already, which you might not be aware of. This might seem intrusive, and this is what Walt was sharing, but it's absolutely essential that it is thorough, because we have such a huge onus of responsibility to make sure that the homes that we place our children in are safe. And also, you know, I want to make sure that the people that are looking after our children and young people really care. They really want to make a positive difference. They have empathy for others. They're really interested in understanding their coping mechanisms that they've developed and trying to help them. I mean, I don't know if you want to add anything else there about the assessment, Walt. I know you did speak about it already.
No. I mean, the assessment is a great experience, What I will say though is that I had to be prepared to grow. Not wanting to say I had to change, but I had to listen and I had to be willing to accept feedback. So just the experience for the assessment to me was already such a great experience that even if I hadn't been approved as a foster carer, I thought I have benefited from this process. But yeah, just what I recommend is be open and be yourself. And just be honest. And whatever you have experienced in the past, you can use to become a good foster carer. What I've learned from Islington is Islington believes that there's more than one thing to a person, and people can change and people can evolve. And if you can do that, then you can connect that with a young person and help them to flourish in your home as well.
Absolutely. Definitely. We've talked a lot today in our session. It was a short session, but I hope that everyone's found it informative and that you will consider taking the next step to becoming a foster carer. We'd love to hear from you. Please get in touch. You can send us a message. You can email us. You can phone us on the number that's scrolling on the screen in front of you. And also you can have a look on our website.
And if anybody would like to... Sorry.
Yeah, go on, Walt.
So, and if anybody would want to, if anybody wants to speak to a foster carer, either myself or anybody else, I think that's possible. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that would be really, really helpful to talk one-to-one with a carer about their experience of fostering, and maybe you can talk about any sort of fears or concern that you might have, and they might be able to help you with that. So just please get in touch, everyone. We look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
And hopefully we'll